The story begins in a house that seems kinda run down. In that house, a man and his wife were being beaten by a group of loan sharks. The man's lap was heated with a very hot iron, and while blood was flowing from his mouth, he begged the loan shark to please give him 1 more month to repay the money he owes them. But the loan shark holding the hot iron told the man while smiling that if he borrows someone else's money, he should sell his organs to pay it back. That's what a normal human should do. He grabbed the man by his neck with the intention to press his face with the hot iron. He told the man that they both need to feel some pain too, so they'll understand how it feels for the people who can't get their money back. But as he was about to hot the man, he saw the wife from behind pressing a phone while breathing heavily and shaking all over, so he immediately grabbed the phone from her hand. He asked her, what is she doing with the phone? Or is she trying to call the corpse? If that's the case, it's no use. He then looked at the phone to see who she's texting or trying to call. But he was surprised to see that she was talking to her son. Her son texted her, "Where are you? I am unable to reach you," but at the moment when she wanted to text him not to come home under any circumstances. The loan shark took the phone and she was unable to send the text that was already written. The loan shark laughed excitedly since he just got a sudden spark of idea. He told the man and his wife that instead of beating them, he should just beat up their son. The two couples cried and begged them not to harm their son, but they didn't listen. The loan shark leader told his underlings to shut their mouth completely so that they won't make a sound to avoid scaring their son, and so they tied them to the wall. The loan shark noticed that their son has arrived, so he smiled with joy and excitement. Their son is a high school student and the protagonist of this story with the name Kang Sun-woo. So, as a means of reference, we would be calling him Sun-woo. Sun-woo arrived at the door, and he pushed it open. His mother, whose mouth was being closed tightly, was begging and praying for him not to enter. But Sun-woo had already entered the room, and the loan shark with his underlings were already waiting for him to enter their attack range. Sun-woo pulled his shoe while holding his school bag, and he announced that he have arrived, but before he knew what was going on, one of the loan shark used his rod to smash him on the head. His mother was crying since she thought her son is in big trouble, but to her surprise and to the loan shark's biggest surprise, he grabbed the guy who hit him by the shoulder and punched the devil out of the guy's face. The guy's face was destroyed so bad, even hell would definitely reject him, and he would definitely be banned from the 6 paths of reincarnation. Everyone were surprised at what just happened. Even the loan shark boss couldn't believe his eyes. At that moment, he was sweating all over with shivers running down his spine due to the aura that Sun-woo was emanating. Seeing that he would be unable to take down Sun-woo in a 1v1 fight, he decided to overwhelm him with numbers, so he told his underlings to stop waiting and beat that bastard up. They should even kill him if need to. Sun-woo dodged the first strike that came at him. At the same time, he launched a heavy blow to the second guy's ribs, breaking multiple rib bones in the process. The poor guy immediately let go off his bat, trying to catch his breath thinking it was over, but our brutal protagonist launched another super heavy blow again on the same spot as earlier. This time around, he shattered the guy's ribs, completely rendering him useless and maybe cripple him for life. He immediately went back to grab the guy's leg, whose attack he first dodged, and bang, he helped Bro to rearrange his bones by shattering it with his leg. 3 men down already, but another fool decided to dig his own grave by boldly trying to use a chair to take down our protagonist, although he succeeded to strike Sun-woo's head with the chair. But with our protagonist plot armor, such an attack would eventually be ineffective, and it was at that moment that he knew he's fucked, and bang, the guy was sent flying to the wall completely wasted. The loan shark boss was like, what the hell just happened? He was shocked at how absurdly strong Sun-woo was, but since he knew that he would be unable to take down Sun-woo, he decided to threaten his father. He was happy since he thought he can threaten Sun-woo, but before he could look at the front, Sun-woo used the iron and pressed his head into the wall, breaking his neck in the process. And so every single one of the thugs and the loan shark boss were completely laid to waste. Sun-woo was breathing heavily. He then walked towards his parents and untied the robes, but in the process he told his parents that they shouldn't have been poor if they don't want him to fight. He then fainted. Some hours later, multiple ambulances carrying the loan shark boss and his underlings were rushed into a hospital. They were all screaming out in pain. Even the doctors were under heavy pressure to immediately treat the wounded before things goes out of hand. A man with a glass stood in front of the reception office. He asked the nurse over there what the hell is going on and what's all these chaos about. The nurse replied, telling him that a debtor father was assaulted by gangsters, so the gangster were brutally knocked down, and it was done by a high school student all by himself. This news really shocked the man on glasses. In front of the man on glasses, the loan shark boss was being treated with a pad placed on his neck to help with his broken neck bones. The boss told one of his underlings who just arrived at the hospital to get the bastard who put them in such a state and kill him right away, but the underling told him that the guy was also brought to this hospital. He smiled, and he told the boss not to worry since Black Bear just left, so our protagonist is as good as dead now. The man on glass overheard them mentioning Black Bear, so he asked the nurse, "Where is the high schooler's hospital room?" She replied, "Room 202. He hurriedly ran past the emergency room to go meet our protagonist. He said to himself while looking worried that, if it's the Black Bear in this area that he knew of, then he's definitely one of their top fighter candidates. So seeing him in action could help them verify how strong he really is. After running for a while, he arrived at the room where Sun Woo was hospitalized, but instead of going inside immediately, he stood to watch what is happening, although he felt sorry for Sun Woo. But he wanted to see how strong Black Bear really is, so he didn't rush in immediately. Sun Woo confronted Black Bear while his drip was still on his hand. Black Bear murmured to himself that he never expected they'd call him over just for some high school punk. He then told Sun Woo not to blame him too much since he have got debt to collect as well. But he told Sun Woo that he's quite an interesting guy because he doesn't seem scared even after looking at him. So he decided to teach Sun Woo what real fear is. But Sun Woo refused to give him the time to land his hit, so he launched a quick yet fatal jab. But Black Bear was so fast and he knocked Sun Woo down to the ground with just a single slap on the head, just like killing a fly with a bat. Sun Woo went down flat while coughing blood. At the same time, the man on glasses was impressed at how fast Black Bear was since that much is expected of him. Black Bear said to Sun Woo while smiling, "Kid, no matter how crazy you are, if you run at me head on with your eyes wide open, I can't help but strike you down." But he was surprised when he saw Sun Woo getting up. Sun Woo stood up, cleaned the blood on his mouth, and he told Black Bear that he talk a lot for someone who doesn't have anything. His words really pissed off Black Bear, but Black Bear was more excited at his courage since that's what makes killing fun. The man on glass could feel the pressure from outside. He never expected Black Bear to really want to kill Sun Woo, so he decided to stop him right away. But to his surprise, Sun Woo dodged Black Bear's strike, and he counterattacked with a direct leg kick on his face. The glasses guy couldn't believe his eyes since he had never heard of Black Bear being taken down, but surprisingly enough, Black Bear used his hands to stop himself from falling. The glasses guy was relieved since there is no way Black Bear, known as the physical king even across the country, would go down just like that. Black Bear said to Sun Woo while smiling, "Did you really think I would fall down after being hit by a mere high schooler?" But while he was busy yapping, Sun Woo punched him again, and this time around he was knocked down, with his face directly smashing the ground. The glasses guy deemed such feat to be absolutely impossible, but surprisingly enough, Sun Woo didn't just stop at one punch. He continued punching wisdom into the guy's head, at least breaking some part of his skull bones, but it wasn't fatal enough. Black Bear then grabbed Sun Woo tightly by the waist, catching Sun Woo off guard. He told Sun Woo that it's quite disgraceful to be using his ultimate move against a high schooler. The glasses guy noticed Black Bear's signature move, the Bone Crusher, so he decided to stop the fight right now. So seeing that things are really getting out of hand, he immediately rushed in to stop him. But to his surprise, the battle is far from over. Black Bear had no idea what was going on since his senses went numb all of a sudden, so to avoid any slip-up he decided to make use of his full strength, but to his surprise, Sun Woo moved. He never expected Sun Woo to be moving, and the fact that his bones are fine was what shocked him the most, because his bone crusher was meant to crush his bones, so he decided to increase the intensity of his grip. And this time he told Sun Woo that he'd completely crush him, but to his surprise, he had no idea why Sun Woo's bones aren't breaking yet, since Sun Woo was still trying to force himself to stand up, and bang, Sun Woo used his head to smash the big guy's skull. Black Bear immediately loosened his grip due to the heavy impact from the headbutt. He wondered if Sun Woo reinforced his bones with metals or something, but that wasn't all Sun Woo had to offer, and bang again. Another headbutt was gifted to him, completely cracking his skull and shattering his teeth. Sun Woo continued giving him multiple headbutts, smashing his head to paste. The glasses guy immediately told him to stop since he's already unconscious. He then told Sun Woo to calm down for now because if things escalate, it would be troublesome to clean up. And so he made a call that there is a head trauma from a car accident at room 202, building B, so they should come and take care of it. Sun Woo asked the glasses guy who he is, and is he a team with the big guy, but instead of replying, the guy confidently told Sun Woo that he was thinking of teaming up with him. But Sun Woo had no idea what the hell he is talking about. Suddenly, some masked people arrived in the room, and their work was to clean up Black Bear. One of the masked man told the glasses guy that they have confirmed Black Bear's status, so he asked him if they should wrap it up. The guy on glasses asked the man if it would be possible to make sure that Black Bear won't regain consciousness for the time being. The man replied okay, and so they began the cleanup. Sun Woo, while looking weak, said to the glasses guy, "What the hell are you guys?" The glasses guy then gave him a business card, and he told Sun Woo that the contact on the card belongs to someone that can give him what he want. Sun Woo took the card, but he had no idea what it is about, so the glasses guy told him that all he have to do is fight for the one he serve, but Sun Woo squeezed the card and told him to get lost. He then threw the card into the bin, telling the guy that he's not interested in making money through fighting, and he have no idea what kind of scam he's trying to pull this time. He then walked out of the room. The guy didn't chase after him, but one thing he knew is that thoughts can change any time. Some minutes later, inside the men's toilet, Sun Woo was washing his face. He was like, damn. Even if my life is a mess, I wanted to at least fulfill my mom's wish of never getting into a fight. Suddenly, his father came in and he asked him, what is he doing here? And where does he think he is going in such condition? But Sun Woo angrily said to him, who do you think is responsible for this condition? Why did you do nothing and end up with a huge debt despite you being a boxing champion who even had offers? Or are you telling me that your champion pride is too great for a local boxing gym? I don't even know why you got kicked out of the national team, but is that worthless pride of yours more important than a weak and sick mom? His father was unable to reply. He then left the toilet. On his way, he told Sun Woo not to think about going anywhere, so he should just stay in the hospital. A minute after his father left, he suddenly felt dizzy, so he sat down on the ground since he almost fell. He had no idea what caused the sudden dizziness and headache, so he wondered if it was as a result of not sleeping enough lately, but he deemed that not to be the case. He said to himself that his head always hurts whenever he sees his dad since he hate him. He hate him for the fact that he's always bringing home less than a week's worth of living expenses while being plagued with injuries, and always bowing down to the parents of the bullies he fought with. He really don't want to rely on his dad for anything because he don't want to believe his dad thinks he has done everything he needed to do. But he feels like he's sinking into a pit because as a high schooler who can't even board a deep-sea fishing boat, changing his life is impossible and he can't even earn enough for daily expenses. Even while he was working hard trying to pay his daily expenses, his company delivering bike was destroyed since he refused to play with his school bullies, and thanks to those damn bullies. His debt to his dad just keep growing, and he can't leave home and abandon his mom. That's why his life is in a pit. But to his surprise, he woke up in the hospital's bed. He felt the sharp headache, so he wondered if he did pass out again, and he didn't even know when they moved him to a different room. He then brought out his phone to see how long he had been sleeping for. But his mood went to zero as soon as he saw a text from his dad, so he opened and read it. In the text, his father told him that he think it's finally time for him to tell Sun Woo everything tonight, but Sun Woo was like, what? What else has he been hiding? He then decided to check on his mom. He called his mom through his dad, so he asked how his mom is doing. But to his surprise, his dad told him not to go home since there are gangsters hiding there, so it's too dangerous. He told Sun Woo to stay in the hospital since he was the one who moved him to a different hospital room under different name, so he should be safe there, but Sun Woo panically asked him where his mom is. His dad told him that his mom is hiding near the police station in a motel, so he shouldn't worry about her, and since he can't stay on the phone for long, he told Sun Woo not to move around for the time being. And so he hung up the phone. After a moment of silence, Sun Woo blamed himself for all that's happening, because if only he hadn't messed with those gangsters, things wouldn't have gotten so bad, and so he decided to find his mom first. But as he was about running out, he received a call from his dad. He picked the call, but the person that was on the phone wasn't his dad. The person then asked Sun Woo if he is the son of Mr. Kang. Sun Woo replied, Yes, but who are you? The person then panically told Sun Woo that things is really bad since his dad fell and is unconscious. The situation was really bad since it seems like his dad fell down due to work accident, with multiple broken bones and ribs. Some hours later, at the intensive care unit, Sun Woo was looking at his father, who was heavily injured, hospitalized, and unconscious. The doctor in charge of his father's treatment told him that the surgery is very difficult. The surgery fees alone would exceed 100 million won, and after the surgery, there would be years of expensive treatment and rehabilitation costs. After hearing the news and cost of everything, Sun Woo broke down in tears since he had no idea what to do, nor where to start from to get such a huge amount of money for his dad's medical expenses. But he suddenly remembered throwing the red business card into the bin, so he hurriedly went out to go search for it in the previous room he was treated, and after running for some minutes, he arrived at room 202. But to his surprise, there was nothing in the bin since it seems like it's been disposed, so he broke down in tears, blaming himself for all that have happened. He apologized to his father while crying since there is nothing he can do. At that moment of grief, he said while crying that it would have been better if he had just died, but suddenly, the man on glasses arrived. And he asked Sun Woo if by any chance he's looking for the red business card, so he asked Sun Woo if he have changed his mind. Sun Woo immediately asked him how much can he offer. The guy replied while touching his glasses, at least 10 billion won if he win, and even if he don't win, as long as he gain popularity, he can earn a lot of money. So he asked Sun Woo if he's interested in working with them. At another scene inside an office, the guy on glasses gave Sun Woo contract to sign. He told Sun Woo to take his time reading it, and he should sign when he's ready. Sun Woo picked the documents. He saw fighting ward written on the contract, so he was curious as to what it was. The guy told him that it's a secret underground fighting tournament where fighters with monstrous physical abilities provided by various doping drugs from the hospital compete. Sun Woo was surprised to hear that they're doping, but he told the guy that he don't do that kind of stuff. But the guy still decided to show him the doping drugs. He told Sun Woo that it isn't just a simple doping drug. Depending on the type, it can even make an old man on the brink of death monstrously strong. Of course, doping is optional, not mandatory. Sun Woo was like, "Wait, who exactly are you?" The guy touched his glasses, and he apologized for the late introduction. He told Sun Woo that he is Kim Min-suk, a scout for a certain very important person who participates in the fighting ward. As a means of reference, we would be calling the guy Kim. Sun Woo had no idea what kind of scout he is, but Kim told him that the important thing right now is the doping, and not his identity. He told Sun Woo that there hasn't been a single fighter who has won without doping, but Sun Woo was still insistent on not doing doping. So Kim told him that he won't talk about doping anymore, since he would hear more about it once he entered the arena. Sun Woo was like, "This guy isn't listening to me at all, I am not interested in doping." Kim decided to tell Sun Woo how things work in the fighting ward. So he told Sun Woo that if he passed the tournament and make it into the top 20, he'd get to choose a sponsor. At that point, he can choose the very important person he represents as his sponsor, and run with them all the way to victory. It's that simple. Sun Woo told him that he get all the shit he's saying, so he should just give him the money since that's all he need. But Kim told him that what he is requesting for would be a problem, because he can only get paid through the tournament. Sun Woo was pissed. He angrily lashed out and he was like, "Are you kidding me right now? Then why should I even work with you if I can't receive a payment as an assurance?" But Kim told him to calm down. He said to Sun Woo, "You need money for your parents' surgery and to keep them safe, right?" Sun Woo surprisingly asked him how he knew about that, but Kim didn't reply. Rather, he told Sun Woo that as long as he fight for his boss, they'll take care of his parents' safety, their surgery and treatment costs, and even keep the debt collectors at bay. Sun Woo was moved by his words, so he said to Kim, "How can I trust you?" But while talking, he suddenly received a call from his mom. He picked the call and immediately asked her if something is wrong. His mother told him that she heard he paid for his dad's hospital fees, and he even sent over bodyguards. Sun Woo was surprised himself since he had no idea when he did all that, but Kim told him that he can rest easy since a safe home have already been prepared for his parents. He said to Sun Woo, "Honestly, we don't have any other options besides you." Sun Woo decided to play along. He told his mom that those people are the ones he sent, she should just do as they say and he'd soon come over. So he told her that he'd call her back later, and he ended the call. He then seriously said to Kim, What is at stake for the prize to be 10 billion won? Kim replied. He told Sun Woo that 10 billion is just the base prize. Depending on how much people bet on him, the total can increase. One winner even took home over 15 billion won. Sun Woo deemed that to be an insane amount. Kim told him that it's also possible for him to earn that because compared to the bets placed on fighters, it's actually quite small. But he told him that there are also disadvantages, he said. Many contestants either become disabled or lose their lives. In fact, only 10% of the contestants from the previous tournament walked out unarmed. Sun Woo was like, "That's insane, how can so many people die and it isn't known to the public?" Kim said, "It's precisely because so many die that the secret is kept, and once you sign this documents, the first thing we do is create a death alibi." What he said came as a huge surprise to Sun Woo. He told Sun Woo that the hospital hosts the tournament because it's the best place to create a death alibi. Kim added, "You could also participate by getting caught on camera in a specific location, or making a purchase under your own name to create your own death alibi. After that, there is no death they can't fake, whether it's disappearance, a fall illness, or a drug side effects." Sun Woo then said, "And what if I report this also? Why are you telling me all this?" Kim replied, "It's not hard to paint you as a crazy drug addict, or do you think anyone would believe a crazy person reporting a tournament that doesn't exist? In addition, you reporting isn't something to be worried about because you'd be pronounced dead long before you could report it, and that is the beauty of the hospital system." He then told Sun Woo once again that him participating is all entirely his choice, and so he asked him if he would want to sign the documents now since most people take a few days to think it over. But to his surprise, Sun Woo doesn't need a day, since he already decided to sign the documents. But he told Kim to make sure he keeps his promise, and so Kim let out an evil smile, but to Sun Woo's surprise, a nurse appeared from his behind and injected him, although he tried struggling. But Kim said to him while losing consciousness, "Don't worry, it's just anesthesia to move you to the arena, remember Sun Woo. Your parents will only be taken care of while you're participating in the tournament, so make sure to win and solve all your problems." Just like that, he went unconscious, and after some minutes he was gradually regaining his consciousness. At that moment he thought he was dead since he had no idea what was going on, nor the place where they are taking him to since he was being moved on a bed. But when he saw the passageway that he's been taken into, he said to the person that was pushing him, "Where am I?" The person told him to stay quiet and keep moving since he'd soon find out where this hell is. At another scene, Hosin Group Company, inside the office of Vice Chief Cha Yun-woo of Hosin Group. As a means of reference, we would be calling the Vice Chief Yun-woo. Kim told his boss Yun-woo about Sun Woo. Yun-woo then said to Kim, "Do you really think it makes sense to use a high school student as our representative fighter, even though he took down Black Bear?" Kim said while touching his glasses. Of course, Vice President Hyungnim might laugh at the idea, but the more ridiculous it seems, the better. Because if we want to get the vice president who is obsessed with the fighting war to take part in your bet, then we need him to underestimate us. Yun-woo said to Kim, "Are you trying to say that just with this one student, we can bring Hyungnim down?" Kim told him that it's possible because they checked Sun Woo's body after he survived Black Bear's bone-crushing technique, and his condition is beyond belief. But Yun-woo had no idea what he meant by that. At the same time in the fighting ward, Sun Woo woke up not knowing where he was, nor the identity of the person trying to step on him. But when he came back to his senses, he was almost stepped on. Luckily, the guard told the guy that wanted to stomp him to step back or else they'd shoot him down. The guy immediately stepped back, while Sun Woo was on the ground, and drones were moving around. One of the drones approached Sun Woo to confirm that he had woken up. Sun Woo had no idea where he is, but what's more strange is the student uniform on his body since he wasn't the one who put it on. An announcement was then made through the drone that the first round match will now begin. They were told that the first round is the doping test round, which will determine the suitability of 200 fighters to proceed to the main battle arena. They will be randomly given one of many types of doping agents, each enhancing a specific physical ability, and so the VIPs watching the broadcast were told that they can now place their bet from now on. Each of the fighters have their own doping sets. The guy, on the other hand, excitedly took his own doping gun to inject himself. While Sun Woo was saying to himself that he have already broken the promise he made to his parents not to fight, along with the promise to graduate from school, but he decided not to break his last promise not to use drugs. Suddenly, he was surprised to see that the guy had already injected himself with the doping gun, and he coughed out so much blood in the process. For a moment, he was feeling somehow strange all over his body, but he started feeling the effect of doping, and he was really enjoying the power surging through his body. Sunwoo was like, "What the hell is that?" But to his surprise, the guy jumped forward ready to stomp Sunwoo's face, but Sunwoo swiftly dodged, and the guy ended up hitting the wall, and the force after impact was able to shatter the wall. Sunwoo had no idea what kind of monster the guy has become all of a sudden, since the guy was thin and didn't have any muscles just a second ago, so he wondered if the guy's muscles get enhanced or something. The drone then announced that the guy has successfully enhanced his power. The guy laughed excitedly at the fact that he was lucky to hit the power doping jackpot. He said with excitement, "It's a shame I can't leave right now, or else I would love to smash all those guys who used to mock me as a scrawny loser." He then left his spot, and within the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Sunwoo. He said, "Now, how should I kill this little brat to make it fun?" But the guy was punched on his face by Sunwoo without being able to react, and he immediately stepped back. The guy was angry at that petty punch, so he thought Sunwoo's also looking down on him, the same way his friends does. But Sunwoo didn't care about all the bullshit the guy was saying, rather he was assessing the guy. And the punch he threw at the guy earlier was to assess him. He said to himself that it looks like the guy's reaction speed didn't get enhanced, so if he slowly closed the distance and create an opening, then he might have a chance. But to his surprise, the guy came charging towards him at full speed and bang, the guy smashed his head. At that moment, Sunwoo knew that he won't be able to keep up with such a monster, so he decided to somehow aim for the guy's face. He then skillfully tried to regain his balance mid-air, but the guy punched the shit out of him, making him to cough out blood in the process. The guy didn't let Sunwoo to catch his breath, and while Sunwoo is yet to recover from the first blow, he grabbed his legs mid-air and he excitedly slammed him on the ground. He told Sunwoo with excitement that he don't even need to watch his movements, since he just need to push through with brute strength. Sunwoo was quite helpless. Such damages on one's body would have eventually led them to meet Dharma, but Sunwoo has plot armor. The guy was laughing with excitement while telling Sunwoo that crushing him feels amazing. He then said to Sunwoo, "Shall we see how far a person can be crushed?" The guy then jumped up with the aim to obliterate Sunwoo. While he was mid-air, he said excitedly, "Tell all those bastards who look down on me to come out because now I am king," and bang, the guy landed on Sunwoo's chest. He freakishly told Sunwoo that the best part of crushing someone is definitely the ribs. Going back some hours ago back at Yeonwoo's office, Kim told Yeonwoo that they examined Sunwoo's body after surviving Black Bear's bone-crushing attack, and what they found was unbelievable. They found out that Sunwoo's bone density is over 10 times that of a normal person. That is to say, Sunwoo's bone density is not that of a human, which means that normal attacks would be unable to harm Sunwoo. And so while the guy was busy enjoying stepping on Sunwoo, Sunwoo grabbed his leg, and he skillfully escaped the guy's clutch. The guy tried to grab Sunwoo's leg since it was wide open in air, but Sunwoo swiftly changed his leg position and he immediately distanced himself. The guy was surprised at how Sunwoo is still fine without doping, but he refused to accept his weakness. Rather, he deemed it as a result of his body not fully adjusting to the doping sensation yet. At the same time, Sunwoo said to himself that the monster has definitely slowed down, and he's sure that his stamina hasn't been enhanced either, so as long as he avoid getting grabbed, he can aim for the guy's face. But in order to achieve that, he'd have to go for quick punches rather than relying on power. He then moved towards the guy. The guy was happy that Sunwoo was coming towards him, so he decided to land a fatal strike with his hand, but Sunwoo swiftly dodged it, and bang, he landed a quick left jab on the guy's face. The guy immediately tried to counterattack with his left hand, but Sunwoo dodged and bang again, he landed a swift right jab with increased damage. The guy lost balance there for a moment. But Sunwoo didn't give him time to catch his breath by continuously launching multiple jabs until the guy seems like he was about to lose consciousness. Sunwoo, who saw this golden opportunity, decided to end the fight by landing just one big blow, and as he was about to land that big hit, the guy regained his consciousness, and he grabbed Sunwoo's hands while smiling, as if he has been waiting for this moment. He mockingly said to Sunwoo, "I have finally got you. You were so excited not even realizing that I let you hit me on purpose." But Sunwoo said to him, "What made you think that I didn't let you grab me on purpose?" He then asked the guy if he knows why kangaroos hold their opponent's arms before landing a big hit, and bang. Before the guy could realize what was going on, Sun Woo performed an insane acrobatics, fatally injuring the guy with a heavy leg strike, immediately sending the guy to the ground. This time around, the guy had no idea what was happening. Since he was unable to lift his body, he angrily lashed out, and he was like, "Damn it, why is my body like this? There is no way I'm struggling like this against a guy who hasn't even doped." He then looked up at the doping dose, and he decided to take one more since it seems like the first one wasn't enough to contain him. Sun Woo, who saw him trying to get another shot, immediately decided to stop him because that was the doping shot that was given to him. But before Sun Woo could reach the guy had already injected himself. The drone then announced that the stamina doping has been applied successfully, and just like that, the guy speared Sun Woo mid-air, making Sun Woo to cough out a ton of blood. He didn't just stop at that, he angrily grabbed Sun Woo mid-air, and he slammed him directly on the ground. The drone came to check if Sun Woo was still alive or not, but the guy pushed the drone away since it aren't over yet. He then grabbed Sun Woo by the neck while saying, "There's something I've always wanted to do after being on the receiving end. Yeah, this is the feeling for pests like you, so I'll have to cut off your breath completely for it to feel right." But all of a sudden, as soon as Sun Woo was about giving up, the guy went straight to the ground, and he died. The drone announced that the game is over due to the player death. Yun Woo, who was watching the fight, had no idea what happened, nor how the guy died, but Kim told him that the guy died due to overdose of doping. He touched his glasses and he said, "The survival rate when attempting 2 different doping at once is less than 0.5%, and since the guy had already successfully undergone power doping, and he was injected with stamina doping, he was bound to die." Yun Woo was like, "Well, I have to admit, you're lucky since your opponent chose to die on his own." Kim said to him, "Maybe I am lucky, but calling it just luck doesn't quite fit, since Sun Woo's body is unusually strange." But Yun Woo told him that there's nothing strange, except for the fact that his body don't break easily. He then said, "You know too well that this place is filled with even crazier monsters." But Kim told him that Sun Woo is quite different because with the doping abilities they have, they can enhance muscles, organs, hormones. Anything can be enhanced except for one thing that can't be enhanced, which is bone. So there is definitely some special secret behind this, and that's what makes Sun Woo to be special. Yun Woo said, "We'll see how effective his bones are once he enters the main round." He then asked Kim what's the next step forward. Kim replied while touching his glasses again, since Sun Woo passed the doping round test, he'd receive urgent treatment first, and then he'd meet the surviving monsters, who may have acquired all sorts of powers in the same place. Some minutes later, in the fighting ward treatment room, Sun Woo sat down while saying to himself with a worried look that the guy really died because of him. But he decided not to have such a weak mindset since he was the one that almost died while only trying to knock the guy down, and so he needed to do everything possible, since he is the only one who can save his mom and dad. While he was in daze, the drone approached him and it announced that all players who have passed the round are ready. Now they should all move to the lobby. One of the attendants there told him that from now on, the guide will explain everything he's curious about, and he'd be fine as long as he follow the guide. He was also warned not to do anything foolish since all the guides are equipped with lethal weapons, and so he was being led to the lobby by the drone, which is acting as his guide. While walking, he wondered where the heck is the place. Maybe it's some kind of underground cave. He said to himself that they're really making sure that they don't even think about escaping. He was like, "Damn, I wish I could at least call to check if mom's okay." So he decided to survive no matter what, because at least they promised that his mom and dad would be safe as long as he's participating in the fight. But he was quite worried since the fight here is nothing like the fights he imagined. Outside, people thought he was a terrifying monster, but in here, even street punks are on another level, so he wondered just how much worse are the monsters gathered in the lobby. The guide told him that he have arrived at the player lobby, so the door opened and he walked inside. An announcement was made that all players have entered the lobby, so they will start the game with 124 participants. They were all told to gather in front of the monitor for the briefing that is about to begin shortly. Sun Woo said to himself, "What the hell are these monsters? They're on a whole different level from the ones he met in the first round." So he decided to stay under the radar until the official match starts if he want to avoid unnecessary injuries from pointless fight. But surprisingly enough, someone approached him. The person said to Sun Woo, "Hey, high school kid, How did you even make it here? Should this big bro play with you for a bit? Sunwoo was like, damn, I can't stay unnoticed with this uniform, so he wished that they should start the briefing already since he doesn't want to be involved in any unnecessary fight. At the same time, the other group of guys that looked like a clown and a crab were laughing. The clown guy said to the crab guy, he heard that the high school kid qualified because his opponent overdosed on his own doping in the first round. The crab guy was like, so he hasn't even doped yet. The clown guy added, seeing that they put him in his school uniform means that the rich guys probably wanted some pathetic spectacle. The crab guy then decided to have some fun with Sunwoo because he is bored, but the clown guy panically told him to keep his head down and walk away, since it looks like someone else already has their eyes on him. Someone then called Sunwoo from behind. The person said to Sunwoo, you should answer when someone asks if you want to play. He then placed his hand on Sunwoo's head. He told him that he'd kill him if he don't answer. Sunwoo was like, yeah, to survive among this maniacs, I'll have to become even crazier. He then swiftly turned around to attack the guy as the guy was about to attack him. But to his surprise, a man came to his rescue and stopped the big guy. The man told the big guy to stop. The big guy was like, what now? Although the big guy was squeezing the man's hand tightly, but the man didn't show any reaction. Rather, he told the big guy to let our protagonist go since he is just a young student. He then forcefully pulled his hand away. The big guy said to him, is a guy like you with only one arm doped trying to take me on over such a weak guy? Sunwoo was really getting pissed by the guy's word, but he decided to pretend not to notice since it's better than getting injured unnecessarily. The big guy then decided to kill the man on spot. Sunwoo was the kind of guy that won't just stay still when he's being bullied, but to his biggest surprise he heard a gunshot from the drone. And the person that was taken down was the big guy. An announcement was made through the drone that the briefing is about to begin, so anyone who inflicts harm outside of the designated schedule will be executed immediately. Sunwoo was like, damn, they kill people this easily without even a warning. Can anyone really survive in here? But to his surprise, an announcement was made by a masked person through the screen with vigor. The person said to them, congratulations to those who survived. The doping test round you just completed was an event where as long as you survived, there were no eliminations, but from now on, losing a round means elimination. And by elimination we mean becoming incapacitated for further combat, but despite that, we know that the reason you are all here is for the grand prize of 10 billion won. Everyone was excited seeing such huge amount of money, and at that moment they can do anything to get their hands on the cash. Even Sunwoo was saying to himself that with such amount of money, his whole family could finally live like humans, so he was ready to do anything for it. But the person told them that unfortunately, only one person can win the prize, but they should not be disappointed, because if they make it to the top 16 and survive, they'd receive 5% of the game money bet on them by the VIPs. All the players were so excited, some weaklings were saying that they'd sweep up both the prize and the betting money. The person then told them that each player will have their own broadcast channel, and they'll be assigned one guide each, who will also act as their camera. The VIPs will watch the channels of the players they believe would win and place their bets. In short, the more attention they get from the VIPs, the more money they can earn, so they should try to secure as many VIP viewers as possible and rake in a fortune. Now they will provide them with a 5-person room where they'll stay until the game ends, so they should feel free to choose their roommates, and for any further questions, their guide will assist them. So, they were told to please proceed to their rooms. The clown guy was saying to the crab guy that to catch the attentions of the VIPs, he need to be with the strong ones and pull off some big moves. The crab guy said, if I room with kids like that high schooler, I might not make a single penny. At the same time, Sunwoo was like, damn, even finding a room won't be easy. But the man who saved him earlier told him not to worry too much, since he'd make sure nothing happens to him until the official match begins. Sunwoo didn't reply. Rather, he noticed the man's hand that was shaking due to the grip from the big guy that got shot earlier. Suddenly someone passed by him, but it seems like he knows who that person is. Maybe it's someone famous. The man said to Sunwoo, looks like there's a room over there that's free of competition, so let's go check it out. Sunwoo suspiciously said to himself that the man got injured because of him, and now he wants to room with him that everyone else is avoiding. Although he don't know his motives, but no matter which room he choose, danger would be everywhere, so he ended up following the man. The clown guy who saw the two of them was like, wow, this group is a complete mess. The crab guy predicted that the lowest viewership is guaranteed for their group. The clown guy then said, "That's why I came to the room next to the ones who look like they'll be number one in viewership. Although sharing the same room might be too dangerous, but being next door means I would get at least a bit of screen time on a popular channel." The crab guy agreed. He said, "If guys like those muscleheads attract rich viewers, then it would also favor us." Inside the room opposite to that of the clown guy, there were three big guys, looking quite intimidating, but to their surprise, a blonde person entered the room and shut the door. He walked towards the big guys and he told them that the spot they are sitting on looks good, so could they please move out of the way. One of the big guys walked forward and he said, "The camera's not even on, and you've closed the door. It seems like you must be asking to be killed," and so he charged out with his left arm to attack the blonde guy. But the blonde guy used his 2 fingers, and bang, he struck the guy at the weakest part of his neck, knocking him down within seconds, and the spot he was attacked on was twisted completely. The other big guys were in shock. The blonde guy then asked them if anyone else want to greet him, but they were unable to reply due to fear. The blonde guy said to them, "Good. It's better to stay quiet like that since the person I want to greet is someone else." The blonde guy is named Han Min-soo, age 19, Kali Arnis. As a means of reference, we would be calling the blonde guy Min-soo. Some hours later, on a bridge, inside a car, Kim told Yeon-woo that there's information that the first vice president will team up with Choi Ma-chun, the previous tournament champion again. Yeon-woo was like, "Damn, of course he's gonna use him, and there is no one that can win him unlike me whose alternative is just a high schooler." Kim said to him, if Sunwoo can make it to the top 16, he'd be able to undergo the second doping round. There's a high chance he'd achieve the highest level of enhancement with his body, since his bones are already 10 times stronger than a regular person. And if he succeeds with additional doping, they could see the birth of a record-breaking monster, but Yeon-woo told him that for them to see that happen, they'd first need to keep him on their side, since he's worried other VIPs might try to snatch him away. But Kim said to him, "I don't think we need to worry about that for now, because the members of the 5-person room that Sunwoo entered are the 5 fighters with the lowest viewership ratings from the doping test round." Back at the fighting ward, Sunwoo entered his room with the man. The man worriedly told him that it won't be easy to gain viewership because the audience would flock to fighters they think will win. And now, one of the people in the room is the only female fighter, and her chance of winning are rated low. The girl name is Amanda Grock, 23 years old, capoeira, jiu-jitsu. Another one is the smallest fighter in the competition, Kim Min-ho, 25 years old, boxing, and the last one is Min-on, 28 years old. Sunwoo and the man were in disbelief at how miserable the guy was, since it seems like he was trying to touch his elbow with his tongue. Their camera surrounded them. The man told Sunwoo that it seems like the guides had started filming, so they'd need to draw the VIP's attention to the room to collect betting money. The man then stretched out his hand. He turned upside down with one hand, and he started performing to impress the viewers. Sunwoo was like, "That doesn't seem like it'll do the trick," but to his surprise, Amanda stood up, and she placed her finger into the ground, lifting up her entire body. Sunwoo couldn't believe that someone is able to lift their entire body with just one finger without momentum, and so the man and Amanda started competing on who's the fastest. Minho told them that showing off strength is for fools. He then zoomed forward and back at full speed, and on the other side Menon finally touched his elbow with his tongue. Everyone was doing one thing or the other to catch the attention of the audience. Sunwoo was like, What is this? It seems amazing, but why do I feel like an idiot watching this?" But to his surprise, an announcement appeared on screen. It was announced that the 124-person tournament bracket is now complete. They were all surprised to see who they would be fighting against, and Sunwoo would be fighting against a guy named Kai. At another scene, Hosen Group, Yeon-woo asked Kim if the guy named Kai is really that great after seeing the list of fighters. Kim told him that Kai hasn't had a single loss since his days as a Letway fighter, but Yeon-woo had no idea what he meant by Letway, so Kim decided to explain. Kim said, "It's a Burmese martial art, similar to Muay Thai in many aspects. However, there are some differences that makes it even more brutal and cause more injuries." Yeon-woo was like, "Isn't Muay Thai already one of the few dangerous sports that allow elbow and knee strikes?" But Kim told him that Letway allows even more than that. Not only do they fight without gloves, but headbutts are also allowed. So if someone strikes their opponent's face or head with their forehead, which is one of the strongest bones in the body, it can cause fatal injuries. That's why it's banned in most fighting tournaments, but the truly dangerous aspect of Letway lies elsewhere, which includes the permitted use of attacks to the back of the head and the spine. So Kai has likely had the most real combat experience among all the participants in the fighting ward, and even after his professional career, he was scouted by an organization and continues to fight for them. He was scouted since it seems like fighting in the ring wasn't enough to satisfy him, so he started seeking out infamous street fighters for battles, which caught the attention of the organization he is working with. Yun Woo then asked Kim if Sun Woo can really go up against someone like him, but Kim doesn't know either since he's also curious to find out. He touched his glasses and he said, "So far Sun Woo has only fought debt collectors, and someone like Black Bear who never formally trained in martial arts." Back to the fighting wards. In the 5-person room, Sun Woo woke up from his box feeling relieved, wondering how long he had been asleep, but he noticed that his body felt so light. It wasn't just the feeling of lightness. He had this feeling before when he woke up after fighting Black Bear. He had the same feeling, which is that he have gotten stronger. The man woke up. He told Sun Woo that there is no need to be surprised because it's only natural for muscles to become stronger than before when they are pushed to the limit and recover without permanent damage, he said. It seems like you've probably never pushed yourself to the limit like that before. Sun Woo said to himself with a surprised expression that the man is right, since he was already fighting to the limit when he fought Black Bear, not even knowing how he did it. The man said to him, "Muscles aside, your recovery seems unusually fast. Maybe you got hit with some kind of recovery doping." Sun Woo told the man he had been curious since yesterday about something. Why did he risk getting injured to help him? The man replied with a pale face, saying that Sun Woo reminds him of his son. He was sad because if he had been a better father, his boy wouldn't have gotten into so much debt with loan sharks, so he's here to fix things by paying off the debt first. But when he saw Sun Woo alone, he couldn't help but think of the son he neglected and ruined, so he just couldn't stand by and do nothing. But Sun Woo told him to stop wasting his time. He should just survive and take care of his real son because if he was to die, none of that would matter. Although the man was moved by his words, but he still doesn't care, and he's willing to help Sun Woo anytime. But to their surprise, Menon was angry at the fact that he isn't in the main arena. He was like, "Damn it, I'm the guy who can touch his elbow with his tongue, so why wasn't I chosen?" At the same time, the man said to Sun Woo, "I heard that the matches with the most viewers take place in the main arena, and the rest take place in the doping arena. But the thing is, for all of us, except for Menon, to be in the main arena means that our opponents are some of the most popular monsters, but Sun Woo deemed that as a good thing, because it's a chance to draw all the VIPs' attention to their room at once." The man said with a surprised face, "You're crazy." With his freaky face, Menon appeared before Sun Woo, which scared the shit out of him. He told Sun Woo that the main arena isn't just for gathering viewers. It's where 16 VVIPs show up in person, and they're the real powers that run the world. Night reached. Somewhere in the woods, packed outside a house were 3 cars with their light on. Inside that house is Kim and Yun Woo standing in front of a fire. Yun Woo said to Kim, "I thought I was heading to the main arena, but what's with this filthy place?" Kim told him that the location of the fighting ward is a secret that only the organizers know, so they probably want to meet in a hidden spot, but it seems like someone else has joined Sun Woo's channel besides them. Yun Woo was like, "What? Why all of a sudden is there someone snooping around on us?" But to their surprise, someone said to them from the top of the building, "Looks like there's been some kind of misunderstanding." The person was a girl, age 19, Cha Sung-yeon, the youngest daughter of Hosen Group. She told them that she's just interested in the student named Sun Woo, and nothing more, so it's not like she's been observing them. Yun Woo was really pissed at the fact that it hasn't been long since they kicked him out of the company, and now they're following him here like rats. Kim then said, "It seems like the young lady had taken a keen interest in the boss, and since it seems like she got ulterior motives." Yun Woo told her that it's best she just quietly leave since whatever she's plotting won't work, but to their surprise, a drone and a car came to pick them up, guiding them to the fighting ward's main arena. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to break the like, subscribe, and notification button. You can also comment your review about this recap to help the channel grow. As soon as the masked guards arrived with a car, aided by the drone, they were taken to the main arena of the fighting ward. Some unknown time later, they arrived at the ward and were told to remove their blindfolds. Sungyeon was the first to take off her blindfold as she arrived in her own room. The light from the arena was very bright, so she had to close one eye to adjust to the brightness. All the while wondering what kind of place this was, since the arena was much bigger than she had imagined. Her guard informed her that what she saw below was the main arena, and that she had come to one of the 16 VVIP rooms. She commented that she had finally arrived at the playground of the big shots. In another room, Yun Woo sat with his legs crossed, commenting that the arena was larger than he had expected. From now on, we will refer to the glasses-wearing guy as Min Sok. Min Seok took out his tablet, telling Yun Woo that after the current match ends, the match involving student Kang Seon Woon, the protagonist from room 10, would begin. While he was talking, Yun Woo was startled by a loud impact from the arena, caused by a small guy who slammed his much larger opponent directly into the wall, grabbing him by the neck with one hand. Still shocked, Yun Woo asked what kind of monster that was. Min Sok informed him that the guy's name was Han Min Soo, and that he had never expected there to be someone the same age as our protagonist. Yun Woo was surprised that another high school student was participating in the fight, but Min Seok clarified that Han Min Soo wasn't technically a student, as he had dropped out of school. After looking further into his data and adjusting his glasses, Min Seok remarked that the school must be strange, since two monsters had come from there. Yun Woo was confused, so Min Seok explained that Han Min Soo attended the same school as the protagonist. Han Min Soo defeated his opponent with little effort. The drone then arrived, announcing that the match between Room 9 and Room 20 had ended with player Han Min Soo's victory. Next, they would start the match between Room 10 and Room 3, and the participating players were asked to enter the arena. The players from Room 10 entered and were shocked by what they saw. Park Woo-sik, astonished, commented that the scale of the arena was completely different from the first round. A drone approached them, informing player Kim Min-ho and the members of Room 10 to wait here. Min-ho entered through the arena entrance, exhaling deeply, stretching his wrist, and clenching his fist. The drone instructed the players who had finished their match to exit the arena. Min-ho sensed something was wrong as he got closer to Han Min Soo. Woo-sik commented that Min-ho seemed tense, but suddenly, to Sun-woo's surprise, something flew past him, piercing the wall. Shocked, he looked back, wondering where the projectile had come from. Though Sun-woo didn't see it, or know who threw it, Min-ho clearly saw it. He witnessed Han Min Soo casually flicking his head and throwing a stone at Sun-woo, so fast that Sun-woo only noticed after it had pierced the wall. It was such an insane feat, moving at a speed almost no one could notice. As Han Min Soo walked past him, he remarked that Min-ho's high school teammate must be pretty arrogant, but Min-ho responded that he wasn't so sure about that. Han Min Soo didn't understand what Min-ho meant, but as soon as Min-ho faced him, he stepped back and took a defensive stance. Woo-sik was surprised, questioning what had gotten into Min-ho. Amanda, observing the situation, said Min-ho wouldn't have gone into defensive mode without reason. He was sensitive enough to pick up on even the smallest intentions, especially with the killing intent Han Min Soo was exuding. Without saying much, Han Min Soo left the room, leaving Min-ho dumbfounded. Min-ho couldn't believe he was so overwhelmed by Han Min Soo's killing intent that he began imagining things. At that moment, he felt that Han Min Soo could kill him in an instant. Frustrated, Min-ho questioned if he was really that weak, and how he could possibly get revenge in this state. While he was dazed, his opponent, FaZe, 31 years old and a wrestling specialist, approached and called out to him, asking what he was looking at. In one of the VVIP rooms, Wang Gu-sun, the president of Snogon Hotel, sat with a drink in hand. He commented that FaZe was scouted for his wrestling skills, but doubted his strength, as wrestling doesn't involve fighting techniques. His attendant warned him not to underestimate a wrestler. No matter how skilled a striker you are, if a wrestler gets you on the ground, it's game over. Once you're caught, there's no escaping throws, joint locks, or pins. That's why many top MMA fighters come from wrestling backgrounds. Even if you can fight with your fists, it's almost impossible to beat an opponent who uses their entire body weight to pin you down, especially if that opponent is a wrestler. With FaZe's build and physicality, it's a no-brainer. The drone announced that the players were ready, and the match between Min-ho and FaZe was about to begin. Min-ho took his boxing stance, showing no fear in his eyes, causing FaZe to wonder what he was up to. Mocking him, FaZe questioned if Min-ho was just a boxing rookie and commented that, judging by Min-ho's look, he had probably never fought without gloves before. Too bad your first opponent is me, and bang. Before he knew it, Min-ho punched him directly in the eye while he was still talking. FaZe stumbled backward, screaming in pain from his injured eye. Confident, Min-ho retorted, "Who said I was a weakling?" Breathing heavily, FaZe told himself to focus, even if it was with one eye. But while he was trying to regain his composure, Min-ho refused to give him any time. Minho moved too quickly toward FaZe's injured eye, making it difficult for him to keep up. Bang! Minho punched him again in the same spot, this time with his left hand. Before FaZe could regain his balance, Minho hit him again, this time with his right. Furious, FaZe tried to grab Minho, but Minho was too fast, launching 3 swift punches. One to the injured eye, one to the stomach, and one to the chest. FaZe was struggling. Initially, he could manage with one eye, but now, with blood clouding his vision, he couldn't see clearly at all. Woo-sik wondered aloud if Minho was going to finish FaZe off already. Amanda disagreed, saying FaZe had begun blocking the attacks. Her observation was accurate. FaZe was now blocking Minho's strikes. Surprisingly, Minho felt a premonition that FaZe was about to grab him, so he quickly distanced himself. Worried, Minho wondered why he was seeing things wrong when he was the one attacking. Even FaZe seemed unsure of what was happening. FaZe commented that after his remaining eye starts to see clearly again, he feels goosebumps from the tip of his head to the tip of his toes. Taking a deep breath, FaZe calmed himself and decided to trust the sensation running through his body by closing his eyes. Minho had no idea what FaZe was doing or why he had shut his eyes. Though he didn't know what trick FaZe was planning, Minho believed the match was over. He went for a direct attack, but before his punch could land, FaZe blocked it with his eyes closed, shocking everyone watching. Panicking, Minho advised himself to move left quickly, knowing that if FaZe caught him, he would definitely die. But just as he tried to shift, FaZe reacted to his movement. To Minho's shock, FaZe grabbed him and slammed him to the ground, performing a perfect hip throw. Woo-sik was stunned by the sudden change in outcome. Gu-sun was elated, laughing as he commented that FaZe had become stronger after getting injured. His attendant noted that losing his sight had triggered a sensory awakening in FaZe. Back in the arena, Minho lay knocked out cold on the ground. FaZe approached, thanking Minho for helping him discover his true power after losing sight in one eye. But while he was busy gloating, he didn't expect Minho to still be conscious. Bang! Minho struck again, taking out FaZe's other eye. Grabbing his face in agony, FaZe screamed as he fell to the ground. Shocked, Gu-sun exclaimed in worry. Sensory awareness or not, what can FaZe do if he loses both eyes? While FaZe was still screaming in pain, Woo-sik happily voiced that he never expected Minho to still be fine after being attacked like that. Though he didn't know what was going on, he thought that if Minho turned the match around, things might end well. In the VVIP room, however, the attendant told Gu-sun not to worry because Minho wouldn't win, as he wasn't even fully conscious. Gu-sun was surprised, as it seemed the punch Minho threw at FaZe's eye had been done unconsciously. At the same time, Amanda commented that Minho had better get his mind back quickly before FaZe finds him, even without his eyes. FaZe stood up, shaking all over, angry that he couldn't see ahead since both of his eyes were gone. Suddenly, he felt strange. It was as if he was one with his surroundings. Though he had no idea what was happening, he could perceive the smell of sand on the floor, the sound of his opponent's breathing, and even subtle pressure changes on his skin. Now he could even see behind him. At that moment, he realized how crazy the effect of doping was. Laughing excitedly, he commented that he had been disappointed at first, thinking the doping wasn't for strength, but now, he considered it the best doping ever, continuously strengthening him. As a token of gratitude for taking both his eyes, he decided to ensure Minho would rest for good and lunged at the unconscious Minho. Meanwhile, while unconscious, Minho struggled to wake up from his dream world, but his body wouldn't listen. He was trapped in a memory of when he found his brother dead, with a broken leg and multiple fractured injuries. Angered and pained by his brother's death, he swore to find the bastard responsible. During his grief, a bulky man had approached him with a red envelope, telling him that if he wanted to find his brother's killer, he should come to the location in the envelope. And so, Minho had ended up in the fighting ward to seek justice. Still unconscious, FaZe jumped toward him, elbow ready to strike his face and send him to meet Yama. But Minho woke up. Surprisingly, he realized FaZe wasn't moving slowly, but rather he had become too fast. Bang! FaZe slammed his elbow into the ground with incredible force, shattering it on impact, but Minho had escaped the attack. The audience was shocked, unsure of what just happened, and even FaZe was confused as to when Minho had escaped. Breathing heavily, Minho told FaZe that thanks to his long explanation about his senses, he had been able to fully recover after a good rest. FaZe realized Minho wasn't lying. Minho had gotten faster. Minho took a boxing stance and told FaZe to catch up if he could. Deciding to test FaZe, Minho activated level 1 of his speed boost to see how far FaZe could keep up. As Minho approached at incredible speed, ready to strike, it seemed like FaZe was unaware of his attacks, but to Minho's surprise, FaZe blocked his punch. Shocked, Minho wondered if it was just luck, so he threw another punch to confirm. As expected, it wasn't luck. FaZe blocked the second punch too. Frustrated, Minho increased his speed level and attempted a quick right jab, but FaZe dodged by leaning back. Minho was baffled, unsure how FaZe was dodging and blocking his attacks. He pulled back, trying to figure out how FaZe was keeping up. FaZe smiled in excitement, feeling everything, from Minho's heartbeat to the tiniest movements. Now he had no blind spots, as if he had completely blended with his surroundings. Minho, worried, realized that at his current speed, he couldn't defeat FaZe, so even if it was risky, he decided to go all out at maximum speed. He zoomed forward with his ultimate move, light straight, sure it would end the fight. But suddenly, he had a premonition. FaZe slammed him so hard he coughed up blood and crashed to the ground. Even FaZe was confused by what happened, wondering why Minho fell without attacking. Minho stood up quickly, panicking as he touched his neck, convinced it was broken, but to his surprise, it was intact. That's when he realized he was hallucinating again. FaZe confidently told Minho that had he continued, his neck would have been broken. Wusik, watching, was dismayed that Minho's speed had no effect. He realized Minho could sense incoming attacks before they happened, but was shocked when Minho stood up again. What surprised Wusik wasn't Minho standing up, but the fact that Minho wasn't using the doping effects anymore, just regular footwork. Wusik assumed Minho had run out of energy to use speed doping. He couldn't understand why Minho would attack at normal speed, thinking it was a death wish. But to his astonishment, Minho successfully landed a punch on FaZe's face, dodging as FaZe tried to grab him. Wusik was dumbfounded. Minho swiftly surrounded FaZe, leaving after midges. But such speed without doping came at a price. Minho was breathing heavily, struggling to catch his breath. Wusik couldn't fathom why Minho wasn't using doping, knowing he lacked the stamina for it. Yet, Minho continued landing hits, surrounding FaZe and not giving him a moment to recover. Curious, Wusik asked Amanda why Minho was using excessive feints when his attacks were already landing. Amanda explained that it was precisely the feints that made Minho's attacks successful. She elaborated that since Minho initially thought FaZe had lost his sight, he had stopped using feints and made direct attacks, which was the problem. Wusik wondered if Minho believed FaZe could see again. Amanda clarified that it was more than that. Minho was tricking FaZe's other senses. With sensory doping, predicting simple attack patterns isn't hard, but FaZe was still inexperienced with his new abilities. The constant feints were overwhelming his senses. Minho had figured out how much FaZe could predict and was using that to his advantage. She commented that she never expected Minho to be scarier than she expected. With a beautiful uppercut, Minho landed a devastating blow. In one of the VVIP rooms, Gusun anxiously asked his attendant why FaZe, a supposed champion, was struggling. The attendant calmly replied that Gusun was mistaken. FaZe wasn't losing, and his current expression wasn't that of a loser. FaZe smiled, feeling victorious, and grabbed Minho tightly, declaring that his senses had won. He attempted a suplex to slam Minho into the ground, but the audience gasped. Not because of the suplex, but because FaZe had suplexed himself. Confused, FaZe couldn't believe what had happened, sure that he had grabbed Minho. In reality, he had grabbed a shadow. The real Minho stood in front of him. Sunwoo, surprised, questioned, "Why is FaZe doing a suplex on his own?" Amanda replied, commenting that it's because what Minho attacked was FaZe's brain. Still surprised, Sunwoo had no idea what she was talking about. She explained, Minho relentlessly targeted FaZe's head, and he did it continuously without stopping. Every time the head gets hit, the brain gets shaken, and Minho keeps striking before the shaking settles, and with that, it'd be hard to maintain the sharpness of their senses no matter how much someone uses sensory doping. So that way, Minho created a few seconds of sensory error in FaZe, making FaZe to think he caught an opponent he couldn't actually catch. Sunwoo worriedly said to himself, questioning if the kid Minho is stronger than him. And what if Minho's undoped senses are superior to his? If that's the case, he deemed it to be unfair. As the drone arrived to assess the fighters, it announced that FaZe was unable to continue. The winner was Kim Minho. Minho sighed in relief as cheers erupted from room 10, while Gusun was furious over FaZe's defeat. Minho knelt, thinking of his brother, as Sonyeon in one of the VVIP rooms commented that this wasn't a fight between humans, finally understanding why the seniors were so obsessed with the match. The attendant told her that it's not just a battle. Sonyeon had no idea what he was talking about. He explained, telling her that this place can fulfill everything the conglomerate desires. Of course, this place has the power to protect money and power, from murder without consequences, to hallucinogenic drugs that can't be detected by law enforcement. So for the conglomerate, who can no longer find pleasure elsewhere, the fighting ward is their only paradise. Because of that, the pride at stake for the VIPs here is extraordinary. Sung-yeon commented that it seems she has now understood why her second brother wanted to beat her first brother so badly here at the fighting ward. The attendant added, telling her, that's why the head of the second department must have chosen this battle very carefully. Besides, there's a rumor that the second department's talent scout knows this place very well and is highly competent. Sung-yeon finally understood some things. Well, no matter how great the scouted fighter is, they will find out in the next round, which is the round of our big guy. In another scene inside a room, someone was watching Minho's and FaZe's match. A man in a lab coat approached the person, called him director, and told him all 16 VVIPs have entered. The face of the man he was talking to was covered in bandages. For now, let's call the man director. He commented that with attendance reaching 100%, it seems like they might achieve something this year. He then asked the man, who seemed like a doctor, if there were any results. The doctor replied, telling the director that the second stage of the sensory awareness enhancement has been detected for the first time, and it's been found that the long-term effect index has also decreased by nearly 20%, but the regenerative effects they were targeting haven't appeared in any doping trials. The director questioned worriedly if the experiment is a failure. The doctor stuttered and replied no. When the doping reaches its maximum effect, they'll see the results later. Moreover, this time, the doping effect has appeared for the first time, and he thinks the test result might give them some clues on how to regenerate it. The director was surprised and questioned if he's talking about the skin's strengthening effect. He then asked when he could check it. The doctor replied, in just a moment, because the next fighter in the main arena is Kai. In another scene, Sunwoo was stretching, preparing for his battle. Woosik advised him to just give up if he thought it was too tough, but Sunwoo told him that won't happen, and it shouldn't happen either. Woosik questioned if Sunwoo is not afraid since he does not look nervous at all. Sunwoo confidently replied, not at all. His response surprised Woosik. Woosik commented, looking surprised, that Sunwoo is a really strange person. The drone approached them, telling player Sunwoo to please enter the arena. As Sunwoo was leaving the room, he wondered since when did he stop feeling fear. He recalled when he was very young. He experienced many incidents that made people think twice. He always survived, even in situations where it wouldn't be surprising if he died. At first, he was so shocked that he cried, but after going through such dangerous ordeals for several years, he didn't care about anything, even if he was in a dangerous situation. This made many bullies relentlessly bother him because he wasn't afraid, but whatever happened to him, he didn't feel scared. In fact, it was the bullies who became more terrified, and the only thing he's afraid of now is the safety of his family. He then went out to challenge his opponent, Kai, the kind of opponent he didn't want to face, and now he stood in front of him, looking all confident. Yeon-woo, in the VIP room, commented that this is just the beginning. He then asked Min Seok what kind of doping Kai is using. Min Seok adjusted his glasses as usual. He replied, skin strengthening, though it's his first time seeing skin strengthening doping. Yeon-woo asked Min Seok how skin strengthening can help in a fight. Min Seok replied while going through his tab, commenting that it seems to help a lot because all the opponents that Kai had fought against so far had suffered tears on their skin and muscles. Yeon-woo was surprised by what he said. Since he strengthened his skin, how does his opponent's body tear apart? Min Seok replied, telling Yeon-woo that Kai's strengthened skin is so tough that it can't be damaged by human strength. It's so hard and dense that even a mere scrape against his opponent's skin would cause injury. They say even his muscles would cause a tear on his opponent. And he's also receiving a lot of attention from regular VIPs as a fighter to bet on. Hearing all that Min Seok said, Yeon-woo became more worried. He asked Min Seok how they could defeat him since he's someone who's proficient in lethwei training, and he even strengthened his skin. So he questioned if it was really a good choice to pick Sunwoo over Kai as their fighting candidate. Min Seok commented while looking at his tab. As expected, all the bets are going towards Kai, and Kang Sunwoo only got 0 bets. But to his surprise, someone placed a bet of 100 million won. Surprised, Yeon-woo questioned who it was. At the same time, in another VVIP room, Sung-yeon was the one who placed the bet on our protagonist. Her attendant asked her if placing such an amount is the right choice. She replied, of course, high risk, high return. She's just following her instincts. Not like she has anything to lose since she can't catch up with her brother because there are too many obstacles. So she decided to wait and see if the high risk is worth it. The drone announced that the battle between Kai and Sunwoo begins. Sunwoo took a boxing stance, determined not to lose no matter what, but he had no idea why Kai wasn't attacking, making him think Kai wasn't really prepared for the fight. Sunwoo then asked Kai if he's going to fight him or not. Kai replied, he's a fighter, not a bully. His words really pissed Sunwoo, since it seemed like he was looking down on him. Kai walked towards Sunwoo, told Sunwoo he'd only use 10% of his strength, and he'd make sure he won't get back up again, and bang, he kicked Sunwoo directly in the stomach, sending Sunwoo flying. Yunwoo couldn't believe his eyes seeing Sunwoo on the ground. Surprised, he commented worriedly that it's only one hit, and Sunwoo is already suffering like that. If he's that weak, then this game is already over. Even Woosik was worried. He worriedly voiced out, saying it's better for Sunwoo to just give up, but Minho told him that Sunwoo isn't screaming because of the pain. Sunwoo could also feel that Kai is just trying to scare him without intending to attack. Surprised, Woosik asked if Kai did it on purpose to save Sunwoo. Minho replied no, Kai is just embarrassed. Kai might think that fighting someone like Sunwoo, who's still in high school, would damage his reputation, so he just told Sunwoo to pretend to lose and pass out. Back at the arena, Kai told Sunwoo that he didn't tell him to scream and pretend to be in pain. He was just supposed to fake passing out since pretending to be in pain won't change anything. He then told Sunwoo he would give him another chance, so this time he should fake passing out, but Sunwoo interrupted, telling him that he talks too much. He stood up and sarcastically asked him if there is a prize for talking too much in the fighting ward. Kai was speechless for a moment. He then said to Sunwoo, "That's right. It seems like I am too weak to make you pretend to pass out." Then decided to show Sunwoo how to pretend to properly pass out this time, and so he went for another kick, but to his surprise, Sunwoo blocked the kick with his leg. This feat surprised everyone, including those in the VVIP room. Kai angrily told Sunwoo that he should have just laid down, and as he was about to punch Sunwoo, Sunwoo immediately twisted his head to avoid the strike. Kai was surprised that Sunwoo could twist his head that far, and while Kai was full of openings, Sunwoo slammed his head with his palm, leaving the audience surprised and in disbelief. But Sungyeon smiled since she believed Sunwoo to be strong. Furious, Kai told Sunwoo that he clearly said he would give him a chance, so why is he being stubborn? Sunwoo replied, telling Kai that it's easy to talk big about giving chances or not, but someone who's already kneeling before a high schooler shouldn't be talking like that. Kai was surprised to see himself on his knees. The serious expression, he told Sunwoo that there is nothing he can do if he can't even pretend to pass out. He then placed his hand on Sunwoo's shoulder to force and scare him to act. Sunwoo was looking all worried since he was unable to move. Kai then decided to use 50% of his power, and bang, he gave Sunwoo a fatal shortcut to heaven headbutt, which made Sunwoo unconscious, but Kai was surprised since he was feeling so much pain from the headbutt, which made him wonder if he failed to control his strength. To his surprise, Sunwoo attacked him with his leg, as he used his hand to regain balance when he was about to fall. He then skillfully did a somersault to regain his balance. At the same time, Kai wondered if Sunwoo didn't feel pain even after being hit by his head strike. Sunwoo skillfully landed, though he survived the head strike. His eyes still can't focus properly. While he was still trying to get himself together, Kai came attacking him, but Sunwoo was able to dodge the strike in time, and the attack only scratched his clothes. Woosik was surprised to see Sunwoo's clothes tearing from just a touch from Kai, but Minho told him that the fight isn't over. Kai didn't give Sunwoo the time to catch his breath. He then used his knees and attacked Sunwoo directly in the stomach, making Sunwoo cough out in pain. While he was still trying to catch his breath, Kai used his elbow and slammed Sunwoo directly at the back of his head, a place where one would die if they were forcefully hit there.